Just a different energy around St.Andrews now, isn't there? They were actually going into games feeling positive as a fan base. And I feel like, with the Rooney saga, we were more fragmented than ever. And I think now we're probably closer than ever.
Yeah.
It genuinely feels like one big family again, Blues, at the moment. And I know everyone has differences of opinions. Everyone, has their right to their difference of opinion. But generally, it feels like we're on the same page again. And what a nice feeling that is. So welcome back to BCFC Royal Blue. And on Saturday, Birmingham City beat Oxford United 1-0 at home at St.Andrews. Now, we all know Gary Rowett as Birmingham City supporters, and there was no surprise with his mentality of compactness and defence first. And it kind of had that League One low block feel to it. Now, I think Blues controlled the game, but we just didn't have that killer instinct. But we still got the 3 points. We won 1-0, and we move on to our next game. Nice now getting that momentum in the league, in the playoff spaces. So, Dad, Birmingham City 1, Oxford United 0. What were your thoughts?
3 points, Matt. You mentioned it in the intro, and it's 3 points. I mean, we know that in the same weekend, Coventry won 7-1. We won 1-0, but we both get 3 points. And that's what it's about, isn't it? It's about getting those 3 points. And, I will say that, I did predict the score and I did predict the performance. There's not much I can say, really, in this post-match video. Go and watch the pre-match video and you'll see everything I predicted. But
I'd like to say that I got the Sheffield United score right, but there's no mention of that on the post-match video for that one, was there?
Yeah, but only the league counts, Matt, and you know that. but in all seriousness, though, Matt, it was a game that we did expect in terms of we did say that we felt that it might be a League One type of setup from Oxford, that they'd come to block and frustrate, and that's exactly what happened, actually. And it did feel like it as well. Sitting there in St Andrews at that game, it did feel like we could have been playing any of the League One teams that we played last season. And I'm not saying, again, I've mentioned this in the pre-match as well, that I don't think Oxford, we're not saying that Oxford are a League One team, we're not, but tactically they set up exactly as a League One team did. But we got it over the line, Matt, and that's what matters, really. I mean, we should have won by more, to be fair. We had some very, very clear-cut chances.
Should have been 3-0 at half-time,
Oh,
really.
yeah, we should have. And they overall, when you look and reflect on the game, they offered very little. They had some decent passages of play at times when they had the ball in the first half, but it never amounted to anything, really. So we basically controlled the game fairly well and deserved the 3 points, but it should have been a bigger margin, I thought.
There was a Blues fan on social media, and I thought he summarised the whole game perfectly in 4 words, and it was controlled but not clinical. So, we controlled large portions of the game. We had good amounts of possession. In fact, I thought during certain parts of the game, we played some really good football.
Yeah.
I was really impressed with us playing out from the back. It actually led to a couple of chances. I thought we looked really good in parts. But it's that thing, isn't it? Actually, Oxford went up the pitch in 90 plus 2 or 3, and they could. I mean, it was a half chance, but you think to yourself, if you don't put these chances away earlier on in the game, it does allow teams to score in the last minute. I mean, we thought we were over it last season, Dad, but the game that comes to mind is that Northampton game, isn't it? And I think, by the way, it's worth saying, as I said, I think it was a good performance. We're not turning this into a negative conversation, but if we don't start killing teams off with those 1, 2, 3s, and it's not being greedy. It's not because we want to see loads of goals, although we do. It's more so we don't get punished with a Hail Mary. And when that long throw came in, that Hail Mary for them in the last, I was thinking to myself, they've got Helek at the back. I was thinking, oh no, this could be dangerous here. So just a little bit more comfortable the endings of the games could be, couldn't they?
Yeah, and at this level as well, Matt, we're at championship level now. So there are going to be teams that will punish us, at times. So therefore, we do need that daylight, that breathing space, don't we? And so when you do take your chances, when you get your chances, you've got to take them. And, we were 1-0 all the way through that game, and you always felt that, like you mentioned, what we've said before, a deflection, a bad decision,
a long throw,
penalty, a long throw, anything can result in an opposition goal. In fact, they, at the very end, nearly scored, didn't they? I think it was a shot and a deflection just wide. And that would have been, again, another feeling that we've lost out on 2 points, but as it happened, it didn't. That wasn't the case. We did get the 3 points, and that's what we wanted to be. At the start of the game, Lewis Kumas was introduced to the crowd.
He was loving it, wasn't he?
Yeah, he did love it as well. I like it from what I saw in his interview as well. He looks like he's a confident young lad.
He does.
Looks like he wants to work hard and battle well for the team. So I think he looks like somebody who's got the right attitude for us.
I like the teaser, Dad. I say teaser. It was the short one on social media, and he was at St Andrews, and the board said, "Welcome, Lewis Kumas," and he turned around and said something like, "It feels right."
Yeah.
again, he looks like he's got a good attitude to me. He looks like he's going to make a good fit. And he's a right winger. Well, he's a wing-based player. So I think he's going to fit in really well this season. So, yeah, great to see Lewis Koumas before the game. Great to get back down to St.Andrews as well, Dad. No matter who we're playing, no matter what time of year it is, it's always good just to be, we're Tilton, Block 15, and just in our area, it's like a little family kind of part of it, and really good to see everyone. Good atmosphere again in terms of just like the build-up in the fan parks, and there's just a different energy around St.Andrews now, isn't there? We're actually going into games feeling positive as a fan base, and I feel like, with the Rooney saga, we were more fragmented than ever, and I think now we're probably closer than ever. It genuinely feels like one big family again, Blues, at the moment, and I know everyone has differences of opinions, everyone, has their right to their difference of opinion, but generally it feels like we're on the same page again, and what a nice feeling that is. It's great, isn't it?
It is, and you can tell by the attendances at the Carabao Cup games as well. Typically we'd be getting 7,000-8,000 for early rounds. We had, was it 16,000 against Sheffield United? Looks like the Port Vale's going to even be higher from what I've seen from ticket sales. So it definitely is that momentum, that feel-good factors there, which is it's a great place to be based upon where we've been previous years. So fantastic. But and just a note as well before the game that Ben Davies was announced by earlier in that morning as a loan signing for Oxford United. I think he'll do well there. Just want to wish him well, really. I was hoping we'd get him back. Obviously that wasn't to be, and that's fine, and we'll move on and find somebody else. But I just want to wish him luck at Oxford, and I think he'll be a good asset for them.
From an Oxford point of view, Dad, Ben Davies and Heelek are two centre-halves. That's a pretty formidable centre-half base for Championship. So if they can build on that, I have no doubt they could be okay with Gary Rowett putting that safety first.
They'll be solid at the back. But
it's going forward, isn't it, for them?
Yeah.
It's going forward.
As I think they offered very little.
They're very one-dimensional, aren't they? And I think that isn't...
They were against us, Matt, but I suppose, there's a lot of teams, good quality teams. So if they're like that with us, they're going to be like that with most teams, I think, in this league. Well,
again, Dad, if you think about the pre-match video, pretty much how the game went, we did talk about it. We thought it was going to be frustrating. We thought there was going to be the low block. He played 5 at the back, and often it felt like 6 at the back. It was just a wave of yellow shirts, man. It was just a bank.
When we were on the attack as well, it was literally 2 banks of 4, and it was clearly 2 banks of 4. And even there, number 9 came back and made it a 5 and a 4. So it was again, we saw it all the time. We saw it all the time last season. There's nothing new for us.
And I think, actually, Dad, last season put us in good stead to win this game. Because what did we learn from last season? Patience, resilience. Not overplaying it in times of panic or whatever it might be. I mean, I'm very glad we got the goal in the first half because it meant they had to come out a little bit more than what they would have been if it was 0-0. Because I think if it was 0-0, we would have seen the head injuries, we would have seen the rolling around, the booting out, the slowing down the game as much as they can. But they still parked very deep in their half. It was very much a case of, I think Gary Rowett came hoping to get a point. That's kind of how I read the Oxford strategy and game. We knew it was going to be that way. But overall, Dad, from a Blues perspective, I think it was a good performance because of what we learnt from League One last season. And we are going to hit teams that come to St.Andrews and... I don't want to say park the bus, but they will frustrate us. They will try and knock us out of kilter. It's an intimidating place to go, especially when the place is noisy and rocking. But I think that showed us another side of our game, that patience, that resilience, and I like to see that side of the game as well. And I think that came off the back of being a League One team last season. We didn't panic, and we were used to that, weren't we?
And I think the players now are all used to the actual type and style of play. But it was new last season, wasn't it? And even the new players have came in with, we'll come on to them in a minute, how well they've done since they've come into the team as well. But there was a few two changes from the starting lineup against Blackburn. So we expected the first one. Ethan Laird came in as left back because Alex Cochrane was injured. We know that change happened at half-time at Blackburn. That continued at the start of this game. And surprising in a way, Williamson came in for Keshi Anderson, but Williamson was on the right. That raised my eyebrows a little bit because we've said in previous podcasts that, Williamson, his best position is not out wide. But to be fair to him, he did pretty well. Stano was in the number 10 and Kyogo in the number 9 for the starting lineup. So just two changes. But interesting, sorry, Matt, just on the starting lineup, Dukes and Fujimoto on the bench. Didn't come on, but they're on the bench.
I was hoping to see them both, but obviously it wasn't meant to be. I think we'll see them soon, for sure. On Williamson, Dad, I'm going to put my hand up on this. Whenever I see Williamson in the team and he's on the right, I immediately go, oh, no. I'm just admit it. I go, oh, no, I don't want Williamson out on the right. It doesn't work. But he shut me up. he shut a lot of other fans up as well, and he actually had a great game. So I just want to say there,
fair
I think
play to him.
I'm quick enough to jump on to say sometimes I feel a little bit underwhelmed when he's on the right, but I think credit's due where credit's due, and I think he had actually a really good game. So fair play to him, Dad.
He did, and he played the full 90 plus, whatever, 94.
No,
so
he had a good game.
Yeah, he did, and he had some good touches as well. There was one touch in particular in the second half where he dinked it to,
that was beautiful.
I think it was Bright to say Samuel,
who
did the overlappers, and that was a fantastic little dink forward. It didn't amount to a goal, but it resulted in a shot which the goalkeeper saved. But he did very well. I think that obviously for us, it was just a case of not to go through the motions, but just like you said, patience was a good word you use, actually. Knowing that you're going to get these teams that are going to do that, and to just keep going. And
banging the rock or smashing the rock, whatever Chris Davies calls it.
Pounding
the
rock.
rock.
Yeah.
I get there in the end. But it's that patient approach, isn't it? And I think that's what League One taught us last season.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to be patient.
Yeah, I mean, on the game, obviously, we know that that Kyogo missed 2 good chances. We'll talk about them now because one thing I would say to Blues fans, and this is an interesting point, is that we had a comment from one of our Japanese viewers in the comments from when we signed Kyogo. And he said that, and he obviously he's based in Japan, and he knows a lot about Kyogo, follows the Japanese players quite widely. And he said in that comment, which I thought was very, very interesting, he says Kyogo creates an awful lot of chances, but he misses an awful lot of chances. But he says, don't panic. He said, over the season, his statistics will stack up. So, and we saw that, didn't we? As
Also,
a prime example against Oxford.
To jump on that as well, Dad, he's a player who's had 8 months on the sidelines, pretty much. Not sidelines by injury necessarily, but he hasn't had regular first-team football. So you've got to remember, people like Tommy Doyle, people like Kyogo, they need to get the rust off.
Yeah.
You need consistent game time, and especially a striker. Striker and goalkeeper, they're 2 positions which thrive off confidence, aren't they? If you're scoring goals or saving pens or making good saves, they're the 2 positions that confidence plays a huge role in. So if you're a striker and you're not scoring, or you do start scoring, that just you become into a purple patch, don't you? You start banging them in there.
I think that's a very good point in that he needs a goal, doesn't he?
Yeah,
he just needs a goal to get going. And
he scored against Sheffield United, to be fair, but
a
league goal, isn't it?
But you watch him, and we often, we obviously sit together and watch the game, and sometimes we're saying to each other, look at the movement of him. And look at he's waiting for the ball. He's running off the shoulder.
He's class.
It's just at the moment, I think there's a separation between what the team are doing and where he's going, and I think that'll come with time.
Oh my God,
he's intelligent. Isn't
how
he?
many times, Dad, were we? And by the way, we weren't like saying a negative about the Blues players, like as if he didn't pick him out, as if he didn't pass him. But how many times did me and you look at each other and go, "What a run that was by Kyogo! What a run that was! What a run that was!" So he is constantly on the shoulder looking for that run, isn't he? And when you do find him. Like that, I'm sure we're going to come on to that first chance, Dad, where we all cheered and thought it was in.
Yeah.
He made that space for himself and went through. And really, really good player. I love Kyogo. Intelligent, smart, fast. And when the goals start coming, he's going to start banging them in.
Yeah, I mean, that chance when he went through, Williamson put him through, didn't he? It was only the 12th minute that was. And you think, you put your money on him scoring for that, a one-on-one with the goalkeeper. But and it was like an optical illusion, wasn't it? In terms of, he just went past the post, but I think the ball hit the side net, so the net rippled. And we was all up celebrating, embarrassingly, but we were up celebrating. And then you knew straight away that it wasn't a goal, because obviously, you get that euphoria in the stadium. Yeah. He sort of started to temper and die down, and then when I got home and looked at that, I think to myself that was a very, very good chance. And really, I think a Kyogo on a confident Kyogo who's maybe got a few goals under his belt would have put that away.
You can tell it didn't go in, Dad, because the Oxford fans, all you heard was and then all the hand gestures come out, and you think, oh no, he's missed it. But
sometimes you look back at those chances, and they could be the difference in a game, and there could have been between 3 points, 1 point. As it happened, it didn't really matter in the end because we got the 3 points. But
that's exactly what we're talking about by being comfortable and controlled, but not clinical. Those chances need to go in. And if that goes in, Dad, and the other one, obviously, the Pate goal goes in, that's 2-0 at half-time. Yeah. That completely changes the landscape of the game.
Well, the second goal wouldn't it?
Yeah,
because it gives us that breathing space. It allows the players to be a little bit more
relaxed,
confident on the ball, and it just takes that sort of jeopardy away, doesn't it? Where you always can...
takes the sting out of the game.
It does, doesn't it? But that was a really bad chance. And then there was another chance just before half-time when, through ball led past... Oh, no, sorry, that was the goal. There was the header. The header was the second chance that Kyogo missed when who was it that dinked it over? Was it Gray?
Laird or Gray, I think it was.
I
Maybe.
can't remember. It should be in my notes, but I can't remember. I mean, Blues fans will correct us anyway. But and again, it was a good chance, and again, it was all because of the position he'd made. But he just glanced it over the bar, and that could have been. I mean, he could have had 2 goals, couldn't he, Kyogo, before half time? And then obviously we went in 1-0 because of the goal, and it was a good goal, wasn't it? Again, Ethan Laird again. Everybody saw what Ethan Laird did in terms of the contribution against Blackburn. Obviously, he won the penalty. And contributed in the build up to the winner, and in this game as well, it was fantastic, wasn't it?
Brilliant, yeah.
Absolutely,
he offers us something completely different.
That left hand side with him and Damari Gray was absolutely that's the best left side I've seen for many years in that game. The best I've seen 2 left players play on that side.
Yeah. Both 5-footed as well.
I know.
Interesting, isn't it?
But look at the good old Lairdo. He just goes down, doesn't he? In terms of his bombing down the wing, he's got that burst, which catches defenders out. He's got that burst of pace, which he did, and he literally just got to the goal line and he just literally cut it back, didn't he? And again, it was a great finish by Pape because he placed it, didn't he?
Yeah,
He didn't try and leather it. He literally just got it in just to the inside of the post between the goalkeeper and
lovely goal.
What a great goal! And we said we deserve that goal. It could have easily gone 0-0 at half time, but we deserved that goal, and I thought that was a fantastic goal.
It was a great goal, and there's 2 points on that for me, Dad. It's referencing players, Laird and Dimmy on our left hand side. Second half, first half and second half, just outrageous. Almost a cheat code for the left hand side. They are absolutely fantastic together. I thought that worked really, really well. I thought we were dangerous down that side pretty much all game, and you can't deny it. It was because of Laird's pace and his athleticism and enthusiasm to get up the pitch as well. It makes a massive difference. And I'm thinking, Dad, we play Leicester next, and obviously Flattered is on their left. Their right would be matching our left. Do you keep Laird there to maybe keep him quiet and stuff? As in Laird has earned his place at that left back position, hasn't he? Even if Cochrane was to come back fit, what do you do?
I don't know how bad Cochrane's injury. I believe it's minor. Yeah. But he might not be ready for Friday anyway. No. So,
but even if he was, Dad, you've got to start playing. In my opinion, we've always said if you come on and play and earn the shirt, you've earned it.
He's created a dilemma for Chris Davies.
How do you sub Laird? No.
I don't think he can. No. I don't think he can. I think based upon those performances, his attacking prowess, his goal contributions, why would you drop that? And I think that's the issue, isn't it? We've it's interesting to see what Chris Davies does against Port Vale will be a majorly changed team anyway. So I don't imagine that the team will bear any resemblance to the team that we saw start against Oxford. Yeah. But we did see against Sheffield United, Chris Davies did leave a few of the first teamers in there. But
I think we'll see a core first team in terms of a few senior players just to have that leadership. And Clara, in my opinion, will probably start just because of the nature of him being captain now, and you need a little bit of a leader on the pitch, even if you're going to swap the team out. You need someone from the core structure. So you might see a couple, but we will see, I reckon, 7-8 changes for the Port Vale game for sure.
Yeah, because we're playing Leicester on Friday.
Exactly.
So it's only a few days later. Yeah. So I think Chris Davies will be very measured in terms of the way the team he puts out, because he'll have that eye on Leicester. But in second half, I thought we had complete control of the game. I expected more from Oxford, if I'm really honest. They're 1-0 down away, and it is a tough place to come, St Andrews. But you're chasing the game, so they had 1 or 2 little snippets of where they broke, but we suffocated and stopped them very, very well.
And that's another thing, Dad. Our fitness levels are just off the charts. Again, Oxford looked tired after about 70, 75 minutes, and we were just pinging it round for fun, really. And again, I know they broke a couple of times. I know they had a couple of chances here and there, but generally speaking, we were levels above in terms of fitness and energy and press. It was absolutely wild to see how we just press and suffocate teams now. It's just absolutely, it's wild. So, I thought we were dominant. We were completely in control, really. I mean, to be fair, in Oxford's defence, I thought they had a couple, and by a couple, it's not a championship survival strategy because you're still going to struggle, but they had moments for a Gary Rowett team of decent little passages and decent little passes. I remember, I think it was in the first half, down our left, their right, they had like a little flick from the post, kind of went through and like a half chance created from it. But there was a couple of moments where I thought, not too bad, but overall, it was, I think, a controlled and dominant
Well,
performance from
Allsop
Blues.
had one save to make, didn't he, in the second half, which was that shot. Was it Lancashire or somebody like? But somebody shot it, but he saved it well. I mean, he should never. And he obviously, that's the one where the defender tried to hit. He would have been offside. The defender anyway. I think they flagged for offside. That's their only real, I would say, half chance of the game. Besides that, we didn't allow them to do very much, and apart from the very end, we talked about this, didn't we? About
The long throw and the little, they broke once, didn't they, in the 90 plus 3 or 4 or something, and it was it was again, it felt another half chance really. But again, if you are only 1-0 up, or coming back to our original point, you run the risk of a vulnerable long throw or corner or set piece, don't you? So you do have to be careful.
Yeah,
especially in the
and
Championship.
particularly in this league,
Yeah.
So it's not like last season. We were vulnerable in the same situation, but we're playing against better teams with better players. So in some situations, we are going to concede late goals, and we are going to get punished if we don't put some daylight.
It will come, Dad. I think this will click. I think we'll start scoring a lot of goals. You got to remember, a couple of players here who haven't been playing football regularly for 6 to 8 months. A bit of turnover in the team. We're still kind of adjusting a little bit to the Championship, and everyone finding their feet. We're 3 games in here.
Yeah.
3 games in. This will come. This will click. Just like it did in League One. What do you reckon? In League One, it didn't really come together until sort of early November, really. We proper went on that patch where we barely conceded a goal for like 3 months.
Yeah.
So sometimes it takes a bit of time to get your full momentum, your full click together. It will happen. I think we'll still we'll start scoring a lot of goals, but we're winning games even while we're going through this transition. That's a great sign.
Yeah.
And overall, Dad, we've said some things here about being resilient and finishing teams off. I still think it was a fantastic performance. I think a lot of Blues players can hold their head up very high, very proud of all of the boys and their performances. I mean, there was a couple of standout performances which we've referenced, but overall, everyone had a good game.
I think we just need to go back very quickly to Dimmy Gray. I think his performance was outstanding, really. The one, not the goal, but he destroyed their.
He was unbelievable.
Their right back. He completely went past him whenever he wanted, pretty much. But that one ball, the diagonal ball that was played over in the second half, and literally he just killed the ball.
Oh my word, that's brilliant, wasn't it?
I mean that was like absolutely phenomenal, wasn't it? And and that's just obviously a sign of just some natural talent.
That is, yeah.
But his contribution, his work rate, he's very, very effective. He put. He gives us a really good extra attacking dimension that we didn't have last season. On that side, and I think he's a standout. I thought, as I mentioned, Laird was brilliant again. Paik was brilliant.
I'll tell you what, Dad, Paik is a phenomenal player, and he's already a high-level Championship, arguably low-level Premier League player. If he starts scoring more goals and adds goal contributions to his game as well, he's a Premier League player.
Yeah,
Paik, in my opinion,
yeah.
He's absolutely outstanding. So, and I thought there was a lot of good performances. Dad, I think somewhere between Laird, Damari Gray and Paik for me is that triangle of the best players.
I thought Bright looked good again as well. He looked good, and obviously we've got Neumann and Clara.
Norman looks good as well.
I mean, we're going for the whole team here, really, aren't we?
Well,
one thing I would say, Matt, as well, I was really, really again impressed when Doyle came on. Mm-hmm. I think when you look at everything goes through him, and
his class, his little dinks, his little touches.
Yeah, he's just to me, he's such an important player in as much as when he does eventually break into the start, and he'll break in somehow. You can't ignore him. He's going to be the player that knits everything up. He's a tidy player, so he's always looking to be positive, isn't he? And making us go forward. So he's another massive asset.
I think he's quite similar-ish to Paik in terms of always looking for that clever little pass, linking the play up and.
I like him in the number 10 though.
Yeah, same.
I've got to be. I like him. I know he can play deeper in midfield, but I like him in the number 10. I think he's potentially that's it. The intelligence is what you need in that position. He's very very good. We controlled the game as we went 66% possession, which is obviously.
I thought it was a bit higher than that.
No, overall.
I thought it'd be a bit higher than that.
66%, but that's still good.
No, that is not a complaint.
In the Championship as well, and 7 points from 3 games. I mean, you'd take that, wouldn't you?
Exactly.
And a fantastic start. And as well, as for Oxford, I think they've got a lot of work to do. I think they need to offer more, really. If you're 1-0 down, you've got to be sort of more on the front foot to try and at least that. They seem to almost settle for a 1-0 defeat, which sounds strange, but. They had the sold out away end, and if they were noisy enough, their fans, and they would, seem decent enough. But I think their fans are disappointed with that performance, to be honest.
Yeah. One final thing for me, Dad, and then we'll wrap up the video. Is what I thought I don't know whether this is just me that noticed it or whether I've just noticed it and it's been happening for ages. I have no idea here. Maybe Blues fans can correct me or you can. But what I'm really enjoying is, when we played the low block against Oxford, so when they played it and we were trying to get across it, last year, Clara was quite central and he was like going from left to right to left to right to left to right. Whereas against Oxford, he was carrying the ball.
Yeah.
He was carrying it over the halfway line and it forced then Lancashire and other players to come to Clara and it opened up little pockets.
Yeah.
And I feel like if we ever hit the low block again or teams start to do this at Andrews, not the key, but a big factor is our centre halves actually carrying the ball forward. Because one, it breaks the line quite quickly, and two, it forces their player back into the game by chasing us down, and it creates little gaps and pockets. Whereas when Clara and Neumann are stuck and we're just going left to right, all the players have to do is run around that semicircle to block us off. Whereas when they carry it, it makes a massive difference. And I noticed Clara carrying the ball quite a bit yesterday, and I felt like it made a huge difference.
It does, because it takes them out of shape.
Exactly.
One player that was very good at that, he's gone now, he's Christian.
He was good at that, yeah.
He was good at driving with the ball. It does. It sort of puts all their players out of position when you do that. Because suddenly, what do we do now?
Oliver Tebley as well, bomb scare. He was great at just running with the ball.
I mean, Clara, he's got that sort of confidence and solidity in his frame to just be able to do that as well.
It's really funny. Like, he's like a big dog, and like all the opposition players like puppies trying to get at him. Like he's just blocking them off, pushing them off. He's just like an alpha on the pitch, and you ain't getting around him. You ain't getting near him. He's just solid. I think out of everyone we've brought over the last 2 years, Clara's up there. As one of my favourites. He's outstanding.
I think so. He's definitely one of the best. Isn't he?
He's quality.
So for me, that's it, Matt. It's good to see Gary Rowett back again.
Yeah.
He obviously manages 2 times. And also Siriki Dembele was back as well.
He got booed, didn't he?
But he was the performance he put in was exactly what we saw at Blues. And there's no doubt that he's got ability in terms of he's tricky and he can go around players. But it's just
what use is that though? If you just cancel it all out by and we said this all the time, didn't we? Like, he's a luxury player, he's a flair player.
Yeah.
And I like flair players. We all know this, but like, he just lost it way too much, more than he did contribute.
An Oxford fan had a tweet about that on X. It's not called a tweet anymore, but saying that Siriki Dembele, he said he spent 75% of that game trying to go around defenders that are better than him.
Yeah, Soy Samuel, you ain't getting around to Soy Samuel.
Yeah, exactly. So I think some of the Oxford fans are a little bit frustrated. Yeah. Well, when he's on his game and he's good, he's very, very good. But being a footballer and an effective footballer, the reason why we sold him is that you've got to do the dirty side of the game as well.
You've got to be consistent as well.
And that's not his game, unfortunately. No. But anyway,
there was one part in particular which tickled me because he was doing like his step overs as Siriki Dembele does, and I saw Samuel just sort of took a step back and just absolutely launched it out. Like he was like, no nonsense, just get out of my face, stop doing your little flicks and stuff. And I think when you hit someone like a Soy Samuel or a Clara or a no nonsense kind of defender, they ain't going to stand for that. They're just going to go right through you. And then we saw Dimmy in the second half, like ghosting past players. There's players who can carry the ball with pace and dynamism and skill, and then there's players that just do step overs and little flicks and tricks. And I thought Siriki Dembele showed that kind of flary, tricky player that doesn't add as much impact. And I thought Dimmy showed that class.
Yeah.
I'm not saying one is necessarily comparable to the other, but I'm just showing the difference of an effective winger against a showboaty winger.
Yeah. I know which one I'd rather have.
Oh, no doubt.
And we have got him. So, again, Matt. Another 3 point. It's great to start the season well. It's going to be a tough season. There's no doubt we're going to come up against different types of opposition, but that's the point. We've made a good start, so we just need to keep the momentum going. Our next league game, obviously, we've got Port Vale in the cup on Tuesday, but then we've got
Leicester away.
Leicester. That's that'll be a proper test for us away at Leicester.
That'll be a tough game.
And really, we got tickets for that, so we're looking forward to going there. But the way we're playing at the moment, there's nothing to be scared of for any team at the moment.
Absolutely not, Dad. Absolutely. But as always, Birmingham City supporters, we would love to hear from you. Maybe Oxford United supporters as well. Please let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. We love hearing from all sets of fans, as long as we keep it polite and respectful and no bad language, please. If you like this video specifically, please don't forget to give us a thumbs up and check us out on our social media channels. We have an X page, we have an Instagram page, and we're also over on Spotify, so you can listen and watch us over there. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel and press that bell notification, or the bell icon, so you get notified every time we post. And myself and Dad will see you on the next one, all about Birmingham City.